Hi, we are
Landon
and Grace, and welcome to JST News Channel.
Today you will hear from Nomar with Chimpanzees,
Liam with the Eagles,
Grace with Taylor Swift,
here comes Colton to tell us about the Patriots,
Sammy with Detectives,
Ava with Sleep,
Cooper with the biggest NFL comeback.
Here comes Landon to tell us about the one and only Jason Tatum. Time to fill our brains.
Now we are introducing Nomar with Chimpanzees. Fun fact, they are not monkeys.
I never knew that.
Let's get rolling, Nomar.
Hi, I am Nomar, and I'm going to share some information about chimpanzees, such as what they look like, what they eat, and some other fun facts. For starters, I'll tell you about their appearance. A male chimpanzee is a big monkey with a lot of black hair, but no hair on their face. A female chimpanzee has less hair, which is weird because female humans have a long hair. Anyway, a female chimpanzee also has lighter hair, and for a baby chimpanzee, they are small with little hair. Next, I'm going to tell you about what they eat. A lot of chimpanzees' favorite food is fruit. Chimpanzees love to eat fruit. I wonder if they have a world record for eating fruit. That's a lot of word of fruit. Chimpanzees either eat or find stuff to eat all day. Some chimpanzees eat small monkeys. I can't believe that they eat their own kind. Cannibals. Okay, after that disturbing talk, the last thing I'm going to talk about is some fun facts. Number one, chimpanzees are actually not monkeys. They're an animal called primates. Actually, we are also primates. Primates are animals that have 10 fingers and 10 toes. Fun fact number two, chimpanzees can grow up to 3 to 4 feet tall. I wonder if they can play basketball. Fun fact number three, lots of animals live with chimpanzees, such as birds, plants, insects, and monkeys. This is all the information I have to share. Thank you for listening to my information about chimpanzees. Back to the studio.
Wow, Nomar, I never had heard of that information before. Have you heard of any of that information?
Yeah, I never had heard of some of that before. Thank you, Nomar. Now we have Liam with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles were founded in 1933.
I never knew that. Let's hear from your favorite NFL team, Liam.
The Philadelphia Eagles, the football team, has been around a very long time. The Eagles last updated their logo in 1996 and hasn't changed it since. And did you know there is a hidden E in their logo? The Eagles started their team over 91 years ago, and this is their history 1933 to 2024. And Matisik was the Eagles' first quarterback. In 1933, the Eagles played their first ever season in the NFL. 1939, the Eagles played their first televised NFL game against Brooklyn. In 1948, they won their first NFL championship. 1990, Randall Cunningham was named NFL Player of the Year. In 2020, Jalen Hurts was drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles, but lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs 35-38 and lost the playoffs in 2024 to the Buccaneers. Lincoln Financial Field is home to the Eagles and has been open since 2003. The field has over 68,400 seats and costed $512 million to build. The Eagles played their first game here in 2003 against the Buccaneers and lost 27-0. August 22, 2003, the Eagles host the New England Patriots in the first football game at Lincoln Financial Field, and the field is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Eagles have been in over 4 Super Bowls, losing 3 and winning 1. In 2018, Eagles won Super Bowl 48, which is the first Super Bowl they have won, against the Patriots 41-33. Before Super Bowls started, the Eagles won the 1948, 1949, and 1960 championship games. In 1981, the Eagles lost to the Raiders 27-10. And lastly, in 2023, the Eagles lose Super Bowl 57 against the Chiefs 35-38. In conclusion, this is the Super Bowl field history of the Philadelphia Eagles. And hopefully the Eagles will win the next 3 Super Bowls.
Wow, that was very interesting, Liam. Grace, have you heard about any other football team besides the Chiefs, you Swiftie?
No, go Travis Kelce, but I liked learning about the Eagles. Thank you, Liam.
Oh, God. Now we have Grace with Taylor Swift. Let's be bejeweled. Get it? One fact is Taylor Swift started writing songs at the age of 12. Let's hear about Taylor Swift, Grace.
Today you're going to be hearing about Taylor Swift's childhood rewards, tours, and her current life. Taylor Allison Swift is a professional and talented music artist. She has multiple albums and they are all very successful. In my opinion, I think Taylor Swift is one of the best music artists. Taylor Swift's childhood. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989 in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Taylor has always had a special spot in her heart for music since her childhood. She's always loved singing, dancing, and listening to music. At the age of 11, Taylor got invited to sing at a stadium in Pennsylvania, what was called Ford Field. Taylor, of course, accepted the offer and practiced. Taylor had a successful time at the stadium singing the Star-Spangled Banner. During her childhood, Taylor loved doing theater. She loved singing and acting emotions. Taylor wanted to make music, so around age 12, she started writing songs. At age 13, Taylor realized she wanted to pursue her music career, so she and her family decided to move to Tennessee for Taylor to record songs. Taylor Swift has always been very successful with her awards. One of Taylor Swift's first awards was called the Horizon Award, which she won in 2007 at the VMAs. Taylor was super proud of this award and wanted to take her music career more seriously. In 2009, Swift won another award for the Best Song of the Year called You Belong With Me. She was given that award by the VMAs also. Taylor Swift has made history at the Grammys for the award Best Album of the Year. Taylor now has won 13 Grammys in her lifetime and is proud of it. Taylor Swift has gone on many tours for her albums, including the Speak Now Tour, Red Tour, Lover Tour, Reputation Tour, 1989 Tour, and the Fearless Tour. Taylor Swift's most successful tour was the Eras Tour. Every concert she put on, every last ticket was sold. There are people crying over these tickets. These tickets would cost somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000. Taylor did a tour in the U.S. and now is doing a whole world tour in other countries. It is crazy how much people wanted these tickets. Taylor Swift's current life. Taylor just released her newest album called The Tortured Poets Department. She is still on a very successful Eras Tour, which is still a sold-out concert every time. She now has a boyfriend whose name is Travis Kelce. He plays football on the Kansas City Chiefs. Taylor Swift is still singing, going on tours, and making albums to this day. I hope that you enjoyed listening to Taylor Swift's childhood, awards, concerts, and Taylor Swift's current life. You should go listen to some Taylor Swift music yourself. Sure enjoyed reading about Taylor Swift with you. Back to you, Landon.
Grace, thank you for telling us about Taylor Swift. Never knew that much about her. Thank you, Grace.
Now we have Colton to tell us about the Pats. Fun fact, the Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls. Wow. Here comes Colton to dazzle us with the New England Patriots.
Ready, set, go. Tom Brady steps back, throws and catches, touchdown, Patriots win the game. Julian Edelman pulled it in. The Patriots are an NFL team that play in New England at Gillette Stadium. They have 6 Super Bowls. They're the best team at the time. Some sad Super Bowls they had is the Patriots went 17-0, but in the Super Bowl, they lost to the Giants. They would have been the second undefeated team of all time. They lost their first Super Bowl and then went against the Bears. Lost by 36 points. The final score was 46-10. The next Super Bowl was even worse. They lost to the Super Bowl to the Packers, and they had a very young quarterback, Brett Favre. Also, one last thing, the Patriots were not good until 2000 when they got Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. They also have smart plays. If the Patriots are up by a lot, they make plays on the sidelines. They are usually up by 30 or more, so they know they can win the game. Also, Bill Belichick will take a smart player over anyone else. Also, trick plays are often good when they are least known. One slip up leads to a turnover. That's why you have a smart to play football. They play at a stadium. I'm talking about Gillette Stadium. It's called that because of Razor Company. They have over 68,700 seats for people to sit at, including suites, which people with more money to spend, celebrities sit over the stadium. One last thing, someone rings the bell in a tower before the game starts. I hope you learned a lot about the Patriots history, a little bit more. It's a really interesting team. If you were in the NFL and you got a Super Bowl win, you would get a ring. Maybe you would like a ring one day. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Colton. I was amazed by the information you gave us. It was a very dazzling topic. Thank you for telling us about the Patriots.
Now we have Dazzling Sammy with detectives. Fun fact, there are different types of detectives. Let's hear about detectives from Spy Sammy.
Thank you, LJ and Grace. A detective is someone who solves mysteries and looks for clues to solve that mystery. When they are solving mysteries, they usually are in public looking for clues, and if they're not in public, they are interviewing someone at their house. Detectives work for a police department but don't wear a police uniform. Detectives wear plain clothes like suits and ties so they don't get discovered whether they are looking for someone or not. In situations where no suit is needed, they wear casual clothes. Specifically, to be a police detective, you must have a high school diploma and you must have graduated from a police academy. But to be a private detective, you don't have to have a diploma or have graduated from an academy, but it might be better if you were to. Police detectives typically get paid $68,820 per year, and private detectives typically get paid $42,870 per year. Usually, starting level detectives get $23.10 an hour, junior level detectives get $29.62 an hour, mid-level detectives get $40.21 an hour, senior level detectives get $51.22 an hour, and finally, to top it off, top level detectives get $70.59 per hour. Detectives must always be careful and cautious of their surroundings because they could end up talking to someone who is having a hard time or someone who is starting to have a hard time. But that's not the only reason. They might have to go into a house that has a bunch of weapons or traps on the floor, and they can't step on those. They also must be pretty good at talking to people and come across as non-intimidating so that whoever they're talking to feels very open to talking to them and telling them how they feel or what happened. Jobs similar to a detective are security guards, correctional officers, firefighters, and EMTs. Security guards and correctional officers do work that can be pretty close to detective work. They check people and guard them and buildings to prevent crime. They also watch security cameras and check others' IDs to make sure no crimes are about to occur. Correctional officers also supervise people who are being arrested or are already in jail or prison. They enforce rules for inmates and search inmates to see if they are carrying any drugs or weapons. For firefighters and EMTs, sometimes the emergencies involve crimes. As you probably already know, firefighters put out fires, but they also risk their own lives saving others. EMTs give emergency medical care to people who are sick or injured and need immediate help. How did that make you feel about detectives? Hopefully it made you feel great and made you want to be when you grow up, because that's what I'm definitely going to be. I'm Sammy Andrews, and that was JST News. Back to you, LJ and Grace.
Wow, Sammy, I was amazed about all of that. I have really not heard much about that topic. Thank you, Sammy.
Now we have Ava with sleep. Fun fact, an average 6-year-old needs 12 hours of sleep, and 10-year-olds up to adults need 8 hours of sleep. Let's hear from Ava.
Thank you, anchors. Sleep is something the body needs every day. It helps us regain energy that we spent during the day. Anything that you do uses up energy. Even staying alive uses energy. As I was saying, sleep is very important to anything that is a living organism. You need sleep to be energetic and playful. Without it, you may have a poor attention span and may get sick easier. Also, it's proven that sleep is a time to grow, so you should definitely be catching those Z's. You know, having no sleep can wreck your mind and health. Honestly, I don't think anybody wants that. Anyways, without sleep, we can't function at all, and we won't have any energy. Imagine having no energy at all. I would hate that. Also, take notes because the average amount of sleep needed for a 6-year-old is about 12 hours. And for a 12-year-old, they need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Wow, sleep is pretty important. Without proper things we use to sleep, we may not be able to feel comfortable during our sleep. Obviously, being comfortable is very important. So here's a list of very important things we need. You'll need a proper pillow or a body pillow, whatever you want. Sounds asleep, like white noise. Give it a shot and see if it helps you. Putting away devices 15 to 30 minutes before you sleep is very good for your eyes. It's proven that it helps you go to bed quicker. Weighted blankets help, believe it or not. It helps trap your warmth and keeps you makes you more comfy and happy. Eye masks cover your eyes from useless lights, inside or outside, so you can fall asleep without the bright lights. A pillow spray helps, especially when it's a scent that makes you sleepy. Obviously, we all need a good alarm. So, sleep is very important. Make sure you are getting proper sleep and have no distractions. I'll say it once again, catch those Z's. Back to you in the studio.
Wow, Ava, I never knew sleep was that important. It gives you a nice dazzle in the morning. Get it? Thank you, Ava.
Now we have Cooper with him telling us about the greatest comeback in NFL history. The Vikings coach said they only need 5 more touchdowns at halftime to win.
Thank you, anchors. Comebacks, they're hard to do, but NFL comebacks are even harder, like when you're down 33-0 at halftime. The game was called the sleepiest game of the 3 games that were being played that week. At US Bank Stadium, Vikings vs. Colts. There was a huge blowout for the Vikings in the first half. The Colts started off great with a 48-yard kick return, and then the Colts started off right away with a field goal. Then they got an interception for a touchdown. They forced the Vikings to punt, but the Colts blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown. The Colts also got a 1-yard touchdown to Dean Jackson plus a 2-point conversion. In the third quarter, the Vikings were looking to put things back on track. The Vikings started off hot with a big gain by wide receiver KJ Osborne. Then the Vikings got a 2-yard touchdown to KJ Osborne. But the Colts wouldn't stop because right after the touchdown, they got a field goal. But the Vikings responded right back with a 1-yard touchdown to CJ Ham. The final quarter, Vikings were looking to come back. First, there was a 1-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson, but on the next drive, Cousins was picked off. But the Colts didn't score. The Vikings got a 1-yard touchdown to Adam Thielen. Then when the Colts had the ball, the Colts ran the ball and fumbled. And the Vikings got the ball and ran it for a touchdown, but the refs marked him down, but the Vikings would still receive the ball. Right after, Dalvin Cook ran for 64 yards and got the touchdown. Down by 2, they needed a 2-point conversion to stay alive in this game. They hit T.J. Hawkinson for a 2-point conversion and sent it into overtime. In overtime, the Vikings scored a field goal to seal off the greatest comeback in NFL history and to win the game. Wow, what an intense game. In my opinion, it was one of the best NFL games ever. The Colts really need to rewatch the plays to study their plays. Back to you, Grace and LJ.
That was a champion story. Thank you, Cooper. I never knew about the biggest NFL comeback in history. Thank you, Cooper.
Now we have Dazzling Landon telling us about the one and only Jason Tatum. He won an MVP in 2021. Now let's get shooting, Landon. Get it?
Jason Tatum had some cool and funny stuff happen in his life so far. Jason Tatum is a very good basketball player. Jason Tatum played in the NBA. Jason Tatum met some cool people as a kid. If you go to a Celtics game and see Jason Tatum, he will put on a show and drop at least 20 plus points. Jason Tatum's childhood was actually kind of funny. Jason Tatum's first foray to basketball was in the bathtub. Jason Tatum's mom found out that she was pregnant when she graduated high school. Jason Tatum was introduced to LeBron James at the age of 8. At the age of 7, Jason Tatum started trying out for travel teams. Jason Tatum would go in the bathtub and shoot in his free time. Jason Tatum's college career was very interesting. Jason Tatum played at Duke for college. Jason Tatum averaged 16.8 points per game. Duke was so sad when they heard that Jason Tatum was drafted to the NBA. Jason Tatum got 7 rebounds each game. Jason Tatum was the 12th in scoring in the NBA, which is very impressive. Jason Tatum has been going crazy in the NBA. Jason Tatum was the 3rd pick in the NBA draft. Jason Tatum was drafted by the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum won most valuable player in 2021. Jason Tatum holds the record for the most points in a playoff game with 51 points. Jason Tatum has a kid and his name is Jason. Jason Tatum scored 55 points in an All-Star game. Jason Tatum is actually really funny and kind and never yells at the refs. Jason Tatum got some cool world records in the NBA. His college career, he won a championship. Jason Tatum has had an amazing career so far. Thank you for listening.
Never knew that much about Jason Tatum before, Landon. I liked learning about his childhood, his college, and his NBA time. Thank you for telling us about Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics, Landon.
Wow, that was some dazzling information. I bet you enjoyed it so much you don't want it to end, but we have to dazzle this up. We are the one and only Landon
and Grace.
JST News. We loved hearing from all of our reporters, but we have to go dazzle out.
Good morning. My name is Haley.
And I'm Tyler, and
welcome to W Riz News
Channel.
Today you're going to be hearing Brady with Patrick Mahomes, Adriel with trains, Layla with Anne Frank, Gunnar with Highland cows,
Haley with softball, Kaiser with Zelda, Alexa with Hognose snakes.
and lastly Tyler with Lilo and Stitch. Hey Tyler, did you know that Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls in a row?
Wait, perfect. Just in time. It's Brady with Patrick
Thank you, Haley and Tyler. I am going to tell you about a famous quarterback.
Patrick Mahomes is a professional football player and is currently playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is 28 years old and is living in Belton, Missouri. His jersey number is 15 and the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been the MVP more than once for the Kansas City Chiefs and has 231 touchdowns in his career so far. He has a wife, Brittany Mahomes, and has 2 children, 1 daughter and 1 son. Patrick Mahomes was born in Tyler, Texas, United States of America on September 17, 1995. Patrick Mahomes' father was a Major League Baseball MLB pitcher for the New York Mets. In school, Mahomes played football, baseball, and basketball. He was a talented football player and baseball player in high school. He has a younger brother named Jackson. He also has a half-brother who plays football. He went to White House High School in White House, Texas. He went to college at Texas Tech University. He played baseball and football, but focused on football junior year. He was a starting quarterback when he was a sophomore, but did not finish college because he decided to go to the NFL draft. He made it to the 2017 NFL draft and was on the Kansas City Chiefs. His jersey number was 15 and he threw 60 miles per hour. He broke the NFL record for most touchdown passes in the first 3 career games. He won the AFC Offensive Player of the Week more than once in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Finally, Mahomes is an amazing person both on and off the field. He has won 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs so far and is a great person. Back to you, anchors.
Wow, that was awesome stuff, isn't it, Haley?
Yes, that was so interesting.
Did you know that Patty was born September 17th in Tyler, Texas?
Hey, just like your name.
Hey, Haley, did you know that trains can travel around the U.S.?
No, I did not know that.
Well, let's listen to Adriel talking about them.
Thank you, anchors, for introducing me. Let me tell you about trains. It is interesting to learn about kinds of levers on trains, types of cars, tickets, and what the map does. Let me talk about all of these topics. The first one we are going to talk about is the train levers. Train levers are used to control and warn trains of what's coming next. Yellow levers mean they communicate a distant warning signal to the conductor. 2 red levers signal stop signs. Blue levers mean they control locks. Black levers control points, and there are bell sound levers. The bell sends coded messages from signal boxes. Train levers are important because they help communicate and control the trains. The next topic we are going to discuss is types of train cars. Train cars are used for the passengers to riding the trains. These cars are important for passengers to ride the trains, and they can't ride without them. There are 5 types of cars. Some of them are the sleeping car. The sleeping car is a car on the train that is like a bedroom for people who are riding around the country. The next type of train I'm going to talk about is the blue train. This train car is a luxury locomotive in South Africa. This train has lounges and suites and has showers too. The next topic we are going to talk about is tickets. Did you know that tickets are one of the most important things to have to get on the train? Tickets are proof that passengers paid the money for a ticket because you can really ride the train for free. There are types of tickets that exist. The one and only ticket we are going to talk about is the electronic ticket. There are options to get a ticket on their transportation app, so it is possible to get a ticket online on an electronic device. To sum it up, this is what we learned about trains. We learned how train transportation works, the types of cars and ticketing. This is important because it's something that transports people, and you can take the train if you are going far. Now you know why train levers are important to train conductors. The reason why I wanted this topic was because in real life, I like trains. Back to you, anchors.
Wow, Adriel, I did not know that they could do that.
Me neither, Haley. That was super interesting. Hey, Haley, do you know anything about Anne Frank?
Wait, who's Anne Frank?
Well, I don't really know.
I heard she wrote a diary that's now famous.
If you want to learn what it was like to be Jewish back in World War II, then Anne Frank will explain it all. During World War II, the new ruler of Germany was trying to find all of the Jewish people to bring them to the camps to kill them. That's why they went into hiding. Anne Frank's childhood was good. She went to school in the park like a normal childhood, just like any kid would. Anne Frank was born in Frankfurt, Maine, Germany on Wednesday, June 12th in 1929. She went to school for a bit of her life. She had one sister. Soon they moved to Holland to run away from the Nazi. Her life was good until 3 years, until May 10th, 1940, when the Germ came to live in Netherlands too. The Nazis were trying to take over the world. On her 13th birthday, she got a diary. She named it Kitty. One night, Anne Frank and her family left in the middle of the night to go to hiding. They had to find a safe place to hide because the Nazis were looking for them and bring them to working camps. The Nazi was taking over the world. Obviously, it was scary for Anne Frank because she was only 13 years old. 2 years and 1 month, when her family went to hiding in secret annex. In 1944, they were found by the Nazi, and Anne Frank and her mom all got sick and died. Some of Anne Frank's obstacles and achievements are surviving for 3 years, writing a diary, and hope one day somebody could find it and know the real story really happened. The hiding spot was packed with a few beds and tables. They had to be very quiet and careful not to be heard because there were people working down below in the attic. Anne Frank's dad survived and found her diary and published it. That's why they had a normal childhood and they had to go into hiding, and the obstacles and achievements that came along the way. Back to you, anchors.
Holy moly, I did not know that she wrote a diary that is now famous.
Me neither. Hey Tyler, I heard from Gunnar that cows can give birth at 2 years old.
Wow, that's crazy talk. Tell us more, Gunnar.
Thank you, anchors. If you like big, fluffy farm animals, then you're in for a treat. So listen up, because I'm going to be talking to you about Highland cattle, a type of big, fluffy cow. Most of the time they're for meat, but not for milk, but sometimes they can be for milk. Highland cattle live in a lot of places other than farms. They are mostly found in North America, South America, Europe, and even Australia. And when they don't live on farms, they live in fields, grasslands, and sometimes deserts. They can be farm or wild animals. Yes, they can live on their own, but most likely to be farm animals. Now, Highland cattle, unlike other dairy cows, are one straight color. They can be many, many different colors, but most common colors are black, red, brindle, yellow, and dun. But the most common version of their fur is red. Speaking of fur, Highland cattle have a double coat, kind of like huskies, which means their outer coat can reach up to 13 inches. They can also stand up to 4 to 5 feet tall and weigh about 1,200 to 1,300 pounds. They have a very restricted food diet. They eat hay, leaves, flowers, and of course also drink water. Fun fact, when it's super snowy outside, they use their horns to dig and move the snow, and so they can get to the grass. They consume over 70 kilograms of plant matter a day. That's a lot of grass. All in all, I love Highland cows, and I think they're very, very cute. And Highland cattle are my favorite animal, or really any cow. Back to you, Haley and Tyler.
Gunnar, that was so cool. Thank you for telling us that.
I know, right? Hey Tyler, did you know that softball was made in 1930?
No, I did not, so let's listen to you talk about it.
Thank you, Tyler and myself. Softball is a hard sport to play. You need to learn the game, have all the equipment, and know the difference between your sport and a different one. Did you know the fastest softball pitch thrown is a 74-mile-an-hour fastball? Wow, that's crazy. And I, Haley, am about to tell you some more awesome stuff about softball and why it's the best game ever. Offense versus defense. In softball, it's really hard to learn what to do. Also, the game itself takes time to learn first. First, offense. How to hit is easy. There are only 5 steps. First, open your legs a little bit, bend your knees. Next, put your elbows out like a chicken. Then step with your front foot and swing so the bat crosses your chest. If you hit it, run to first base. Now, defense. Defense tends to be harder than offense. You always need to know what to do, to know what you're doing on the play before and all the what ifs. But you always need to keep your eye on the ball. And if you catch it before it hits the ground, the batter is out. If you pick it up, you have to throw it to the easiest base the runner is going to. Equipment. In softball, there's so much equipment that you need. That's why you need a bag. First, for offense/hitting, you need a helmet and a bat. If you want, you can wear any kinds of guards, including mouth, elbow, knee, chest, and sliding shorts and batting gloves. They all can keep you safe, well, besides the bat, of course. Now on to defense. In the field, you also need headgear, but instead of a helmet, it's called a face mask. To catch the ball, you need a glove, and that's pretty much it. Softball versus baseball. You may think that softball and baseball are just the same, just split up between boys and girls, but they're not. They're way different. To start, softball is a bigger yellow ball, which used to be called a mush ball or a kitten ball before it's named now. The farthest you can throw is 43 feet, and that's just in middle school. There's an all-dirt infield, and the bases are 60 feet apart. And sadly, it's a non-professional team with girls. Now on to baseball. It's a small white ball, and instead of having the bases being 60 feet apart, that's how far the pitcher's mound is. and the bases are 90 feet apart. It's an all-grass infield, and they have a professional team with boys. In conclusion, today I taught you all about offense versus defense, equipment, and softball versus baseball. And lastly, a reminder that softball is the greatest sport in the whole world. I hope you enjoyed learning the game of softball. Wow, isn't it great? Back to you, Tyler, and myself.
Wow, Haley, I did not know about all that.
Yeah, Tyler, did you know I play softball?
No, I did not. Hey, did you know that Zelda was made in 1987?
Wow, that's so cool. What else is there about Zelda?
My favorite game will always be The Legend of Zelda. If you have never played The Legend of Zelda, here's what you need to know. The main character's name is Link, and Link has to face off against the main villain Ganondorf to save Zelda. And when Link was born, he was born with a sacred mark called the Triforce. Link, Zelda, and Ganon all have a piece of the Triforce. In my opinion, Zelda is the greatest game of all time. When The Legend of Zelda began, in my opinion, The Legend of Zelda was a revolutionary game. And when I find a good game, I like to know about the game. The Legend of Zelda was made in 1987. It was a 2D side swipe. The first 3D Zelda game was Ocarina of Time. Also, the creator was Shigeru Miyamoto. And the place where almost all games take place is in Hyrule. The first 3D Zelda game. Ocarina of Time will go down as not only my favorite game, but also one of the best games of all time. Ocarina of Time was on 2 consoles, the N64 and also the 3DS. And one of the most remembered characters in Zelda history is Navi. And lastly, there are 12 dungeons in Ocarina of Time, including mini dungeons. The newest Zelda game. Tears of the Kingdom is the newest Zelda game and is one of the best. The newest Zelda game is called Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is an open world game. In this game, there is the surface, depths, and the sky. In Tears of the Kingdom practically combines Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild. In Tears of the Kingdom, you can find all the original Link outfits in the depths. In Breath of the Wild, there were 120 shrines, but in Tears of the Kingdom, they added another 32, so now there are 152 shrines in Tears of the Kingdom. To wrap it up, we covered what the newest Zelda game was, found out what the first 3D Zelda game was, and how The Legend of Zelda was made. And for my last thing, if you ever play Tears of the Kingdom, never, and I mean never, bother getting all the shrines like I did. Back to you, anchors.
So cool. I did not know a video game could be so interesting.
Me neither.
Hey Tyler, did you know that hognose snakes play dead?
No, I did not.
Well, let's listen to Alexa.
Now it's my turn, anchors. If you have an interest in animals, specifically reptiles, this article's for you. Hognose snakes may sound new, but in the reptile world, they're as common as other colubrids. They are also really common in captivity as well. They are also well-loved animals. These cute snakes may be talked about more so often, so here I'm starting with appearance. They are known for having an upturned snout, hence their name. Hognose snakes have a short, thick body, a wide head, large eyes. Females tend to be larger than males so they can carry their eggs. There are so many different morphs throughout the world, such as sable, lavender, albino, conda, and so much more. There are even patternless morphs called superconda. The plains hognose and eastern hognose reach up to about 2 feet. Madagascar giant hognoses reach up to 4 feet. These hognoses may be small and stubby, but they are chubby. Let's talk about the snake's diet. Their main diet in the wild is toads, specifically Anstridus terrestris toads. They might even eat small reptiles like lizards. They have teeth in the far back of their mouth to pop toads, so they're easier to swallow. These snakes are interesting. These wonderful creatures live in so many different places, so let's look into it. They prefer dry and sandy areas. You can find them in grassy fields if they contain crops such as plants. They need to drink water, so they tend to be near small bodies of water. They seem to like greenhouses and barns as well. They range from South America, North America, and Madagascar, which is a pretty wide range. I think hognose snakes are the best drama queens, so let's talk about why they might do this. So when cats or dogs get scared, they might scratch or bite. When these guys get scared, they flop on their back and play dead. In fact, if they see a predator, they most likely play dead. They're very dramatic. When they flop on their back and open their mouths wide and stick their tongue out. They might even pop a blood vessel in their mouth to exaggerate it even more. Isn't that nuts? There's so much, and I couldn't find a category to put this stuff, so here comes other. They're misnamed for puff adder and spreading adder. They aren't known to bite, but instead they strike rapidly. They lay 5 to 50 eggs, usually after breeding season in July. Speaking of eggs, when they hatch out, they look very similar to adults. Their scientific names are Heterodon, Lyreheterodon, and Lystrophus. They live 8 to 10 years in the wild. Last but not least, they are diurnal, meaning they are active during the day. These snakes are so interesting. I really hope you learned something in this article and picked up an interest or further interest in hognose snakes. All right, it's your turn now. Haley and Tyler.
Sled, Alexa.
I did not know how they can pretend to die.
Yeah, Alexa, that was very interesting.
Okay, Tyler, I believe it's your turn. It's about Lilo and Stitch, right?
Yeah, so you ready to hear some fun facts? Thank you, Haley and Tyler. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite movie and characters, Lilo and Stitch, and the animation of it. And Lilo and Stitch is a Disney movie. Let's get into it. First, did you know that Lilo gets a dog and she names him Stitch? But little does she know he's an alien mixed with a koala, and the only reason she thinks he is a dog is because Stitch is acting like a dog to stay away from the bounty hunters that are trying to capture him. A little while later, Lilo makes a badness score and she realizes that his badness level is very high, so she is trying to help him be good because he does not know how to be good because he is an alien. Did you know that the director sketched Stitch 17 years before the movie came out in 2002? The filmmakers used watercolors to see the colorful Hawaiian background. Watercolor has not been used at Disney ever since the movie Bambi came out in 1942. And also the background director and his 15 painters studied for 6 months to learn how to use watercolors because they haven't used them ever since 1942. Stitch's monstrous popularity in Japan inspired a TV series in anime style. In my opinion, Lilo and Stitch is the best Disney movie because Lilo and Stitch is super cool. It's about other aliens trying to capture them. I hope you had fun learning about Lilo and Stitch, about the animation and how they did it like I did. If you have nothing to do, maybe you can watch it. If you have nothing else to do, you can see if you have the same thoughts or maybe different thoughts. Back to you in the studio.
Wow, that was great, Tyler. I did not know about
Thanks,
Lilo
and you're
Stitch.
welcome.
Okay, so remember today you learned about Brady with Patrick Mahomes, Adriel with Trange, Layla with Anne Frank, Gunnar with Highland Cows, Haley with Softball, Kaiser with Zelda, Alexa with Hognose Snakes, and lastly Tyler with Lilo and Stitch. Once again, I'm Haley.
And I'm Tyler from W Riz News Channel. Catch you next time on W Riz News Channel. Adios.
Thank you, Haley and Tyler.
Wow, those are some great stories.
Hi, I'm Harper.
And I'm Ava. And we're the Rizzlers.
Today we're going to share some awesome informational stories with you.
Now let's begin.
To kick off the interviews, we have Chloe telling us about cat breeds. Chloe enjoys learning about all the different cat breeds.
In fact, they are her favorite animal.
Thank you, anchors. I'm Chloe, and today I'll teach you about cat breeds. You probably have so many questions about cat breeds, like did a cat go to space, or how many cat breeds are there? Well, I have answers for you. There are 67 breeds of cats. 41 of them are short hairs, and 26 of them are long hairs. Wow, that's a lot of cats, especially short hairs. But there was a cat that went to space. The cat who was going to go to space, Felix, disappeared before they could launch. Luckily, Felicette came in and took Felix's place. Felicette was a tuxedo-patterned cat and had to do space training quickly. She thankfully did it, but Felicette's story was forgotten soon after when a person went to space. I bet Felicette thought, what about me? Why do they like a human story better? But at least she gets a place in history. If you're wondering how cats got to America, I have your answer. All cats started in Europe. Then they spread to Africa and became travelers to travel to the Americas and Australia. By 1850, cats lived wherever their people could be found. Fun fact, scientists found cat remains on a Viking ship in Germany, which indicated that cats traveled with the Vikings. If you're going to get a cat, you need to be prepared for these things. You need to take care of your cat for as long as they live. You also need to clean their litter box daily, or else they go to the bathroom on your stuff. Gross. Unless your cat is independent, you can't leave them alone for a long period of time. If your cat likes it, you need to give them lots of attention. They might claw at you, so be careful. Another thing you need to do is brush them regularly unless they don't shed a lot. You and your adults at home also need to be prepared for clawing. If you're not, then cats are not for you. If you're okay with your cat clawing at your furniture, you're ready to get a cat. This is all you need to know about cats. Back to you, anchors.
Slay! Wow, I did not know there was that many types of cat breeds.
I know, that was perfect.
Next, we have Ava with roses. Ava's favorite flower are roses. They are so pretty. Actually, Rose is her middle name.
Roses are the most popular flowers in the world. They have thorns to protect them and are mostly given to people for Mother's Day, birthdays, Valentine's Day, and more. In my opinion, I think roses are the best flowers. Roses were made a long time ago. Roses were made over 5,000 years ago. They were popular in the ancient times as well as in Europe, Asia, and northern Africa. They were also grown in China. Today, the roses can be mostly grown all over the world. Roses have been popular for a while. Roses are popular because they smell good. They are also very beautiful flowers. Some roses have no scent, and the other roses have a very strong scent. Roses are most likely to be given out to people. Roses have thorns to protect them. If a predator came close to the rose and it would touch the rose, it would get poked by its thorns, and it would hurt. Roses actually do not like to grow in very wet or very dry soil. They do not like this because it could affect them a lot. If roses grew in very wet or very dry soil, then the roses will begin to rot and then soon lose all their petals and die. In conclusion, we all know that roses are very beautiful. Roses do not like to be in really dry or wet soil, so the roses would have to be perfect to plant roses. Roses are perfect to give to people. Maybe you can give somebody roses too.
Oh my god, roses are way more interesting than I thought.
So next we have Dylan talking about snowmobiles. Dylan loves snowmobiling and has been doing it since he was 3 years old.
Thank you, anchors. Snowmobiles are very cool and popular. Snowmobiles are made for snow and will not turn on pavement like cars. There are 2 skis in front and 1 track in the back. The track comes in different sizes and the longer the better. I think snowmobiles are fun to ride and some of the scenery is beautiful. A lot of people don't want snowmobiles in Yellowstone National Park. The park rangers are having a lot of complaints about the noise. The park rangers set aside 100% for only 5% who want to use it. People can hear the snowmobiles 100% of the time and they are mad about it. Yellowstone has a big problem. People are mad and they want it to be fixed. Some of the best places to learn how to snowmobile are groomed trails in the lake. The lake is the best spot to learn control. It is wide open and not a lot of snowmobiles are out there. You should always warm up your snowmobile before you ride. You should take a safety course before you ride so you understand the basics of snowmobiling. Never look away from the trail unless you stop the snowmobile. You should always look ahead and be aware of your surroundings. There are a lot of different snowmobiles, brands, and types. There are mountain, trail, crossover, sport, utility, and touring. The big 4 brands are Skidoo, Polaris, Arctic Cat, and Yamaha. The best snowmobiles for deep snow is mountain. The best for work is utility. The best snowmobile for not knowing what conditions you will have is crossover. Snowmobiles can have a different motor. Like you can get a 550cc or an 800cc snowmobile. The bigger the motor, the faster the snowmobile will go. Snowmobiles are interesting and you should try to ride one. Back to you, anchors.
Wow, Dylan, Sled. I did not know there was that many types of snowmobiles.
And so many brands. And now we have Harper talking about the 9/11. Harper is interested about learning the 9/11 attack. Are you interested?
9/11 was one of the saddest events that happened in history. It changed so many Americans' lives and is still affecting us to this day. The 9/11 Memorial is located in New York City at the site of the former World Trade Center. The walls around the memorial contain all the names of the victims' attack. More than 350 firefighters, paramedics, and police sacrificed their life trying to save the victims in the Twin Towers. More than 2,000... The Pentagon was struck by American Airlines Flight 77 at approximately 9:37 on September 11, 2001. The plane hit the E-ring at the first deck, levels between corridors 4 and 5. The plane's path of destruction ended in the alley between C-ring and B-ring. The hijacked commercial aircraft severely damaged the Pentagon in Arlington. The Pentagon is where the U.S. military works. Part of that building collapsed. The 9/11 attack is still affecting the U.S. and the world in many ways. In the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and many more suffered long-term injuries. More U.S. troops left behind in 2011. President Biden pulled out the last U.S. troops from Afghanistan in August last year. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan cost the U.S. around $6.5 trillion. I told you that 9/11 was really sad and one of the worst things that's ever happened. There were a lot of heroes that day and we'll never forget them. Back to the studio.
Wow, imagine being in the Twin Towers at the time.
And next we have Cooper dazzling us with Kobe Bryant.
Cooper likes Kobe Bryant. He also plays basketball, and he wants to be just like Kobe Bryant.
Thank you, anchors. Kobe Bryant is famous for playing basketball. He was really popular playing player in basketball. He had 4 kids named Natalia, Gianna, Bianca, and Capri. Now you are going to learn even more about Kobe Bryant's lifetime. Kobe Bryant was a really good player growing up, starting at a young age. He was born in August 1978 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kobe started playing basketball at the age of 3. His father also played for the Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers, Clippers, and the Houston Rockets. In high school, Kobe Bryant led his team to a championship. He also wanted to skip college because he didn't want to wait too long to go to the NBA. Kobe Bryant had a really good NBA season growing up. He was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, then immediately traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. He was also the youngest NBA player ever. He was even the youngest person to make it to the All-Star game. One time, Kobe Bryant scored 81 points in one game. That is the second ever most points scored in a game. Also, Kobe is one of the all-time scoring leaders for the NBA. Kobe Bryant also had a lot of obstacles. He was arrested for assault. He was also involved in a lawsuit about the assault. Kobe didn't have the best season in 2003 and 2004. People sometimes don't think he's a team player, like people blame Kobe for Shaquille O'Neal's trade. Sadly, about 4 years ago, Kobe and his daughter Gianna died in a helicopter crash. In conclusion, it is sad that Kobe Bryant died because he was a big part of basketball history. I wish I could still see him play basketball. Back to you, Ava.
Dang, Kobe was a better basketball player than I thought.
Yeah, he was.
Do you like gymnastics?
Well, now we have Kristen telling us about gymnastics.
Slay! Kristen has been doing gymnastics for 8 years.
And she's a level 7 gymnast.
Thank you, Ava and Harper. Gymnastics is a common sport that you've probably heard of in the Olympics. It's done by both men and women, but today I'll be talking specifically about women's gymnastics and the 4 events: vault, uneven bars, beam, and floor. My first event I'm going to be talking about is vault. Vault is an action that a gymnast performs by running down a runway about 15-20 feet away from the springboard. Once you get to the end of the runway, you jump on the springboard and do some sort of trick/flip, depending on your level. Each gymnast will get 2 tries for the vault, and the judges will pick the highest scoring vault. My next event I'll be talking about is the bars, also known as the uneven bars. Bars were created in the mid-19th centuries. The bars are made of flabbergasted with a wood coating. The bars are 2 bars, one higher than the other, and about 6 feet apart from each other. A full bar routine consists of a transition from the low bar to the high bar, a circle around the bar, sole circle, back hip circle, or a double back hip circle, and a proper dismount. Moving on to one of my last events, which is beam. The beam is the first beam ever used in a competition was in 1921. The beam is a 3-inch piece of wood with some sort of covering over the beam to make the beam. Since the beam is so small and you need a lot of balance, people think it's one of the most challenging events in women's gymnastics. A full beam routine consists of a proper mount, some sort of acro, a half/full turn, and some sort of jump/proper dismount. And my last event is floor. Floor is one of the original events, and it has been in the men's and women's gymnastics for quite a while. Going back to the beginning of the 1800s, floor routines consist of a leap pass, a tumbling pass, and some sort of dance. Other than that, the floor routines are pretty free. The floor music must not have any words or you can't compete on floor. All in all, I talked about vault, bars, beam, and floor. You can watch all of these events in the summer 2024 Olympics. Back to you, anchors.
4 events?
That's a lot. Lastly, we have Savannah telling us about sled dogs.
Savannah likes learning about sled dogs.
She also enjoys telling people about them.
Thank you, Ava and Harper. How much do you know about sled dogs? Listen up and I'll tell you all the cool facts I learned. All sled dogs have common physical traits that make them successful in the snow. During a race, they squint their eyes to protect them from the cold and elements. The ideal weight for a sled dog is around 50 pounds. They have bushy tails to cover their faces and when they curl up to rest. They have thick hair on their ears to keep them warm. They have big feet with heavy fur to protect their soles. They have a long outer coat to keep
dry and an outer coat to stay warm. Breeds like Huskies, Ceramians, Malamutes, and are the most common sled dogs. Sled dogs have special diets and training schedules to help them be good racers. Their trainers make sure they get exactly what they need. Sled dogs burn up to 10,000 calories training on the trail. They have diets like a mixture of kibble, fish, beef, vitamins, chicken. As part of their conditioning, they have to train in very cold weather. They start at just 8 weeks. The Iditarod is a sled dog race that takes place in Alaska every March. The word Iditarod means distant place in the Athabascan language. The race started in 1973 to keep mushing alive. The race starts in Anchorage and ends 1,000 miles away in Nome. Racers check in at over 20 checkpoints along the trail. The record for the fastest time was set in 2017 by Mitch Seavey. His time was 8 days, 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 13 seconds. There were so many facts to learn about sled dogs. I had so much fun learning about sled dogs and mushing. I hope you did too. Back to you, Ava and Harper.
Sled dogs are strong.
Wow, sled dogs have a big diet.
Did you enjoy learning about all of our awesome newscast stories?
Today you learned about cat breeds, roses, snowmobiles, 9/11, Kobe Bryant, gymnastics, and sled dogs.
We are the Rizzlers signing out.